So hello friends. Now as I told you that in the today's session we'll be just looking at some simple examples कि जो properties हमने पढ़ी हैं वो कैसे यूज होती हैं. How well can you observe those properties? How fast can you observe the properties? क्योंकि a very good question will be comprising of 3 or 4 properties in some order or maybe multiple times. जैसे for example property 2 3 बार लग गई, 2 बार property 7 लग गई, etc. in some order. So you have to be very good in the observation. So this is the first set of examples which is very easy, and this is simply based on some small observations about the properties of determinants. So I'll like you to attempt these questions yourself first. Maybe you can take around 5 minutes, pause the video, take 5 minutes and try to justify yourself that why these statements are correct. To pause the video and try it yourself. First try it yourself. Give yourself 5 minutes for all the parts. So 8 parts, 5 minutes. Be very fast in observation, right? So now I'm going to solve the question. So you have to pause the video at this stage. In case you are, after your 5 minutes are done or you are done with the 8 parts, then you can play the button again to watch the video further. So I'm just solving the questions now. So in the first part, what we observe is all the elements of second column are 0, and therefore the value of the determinant should be 0, because this is what we studied in the property. किसी भी रो या कॉलम के अगर सारे एलिमेंट 0 हैं तो डिटरमिनेंट 0 होगा. This was the property. So because of this, the first part is 0. Now coming down to the second part, in the second part, if you observe carefully that the first column and the third columns are identical. They are exactly identical. So therefore, in case of identical columns, identical rows, the value of the determinant is again 0, which is again a direct property. Now we come down to the third part. So in the third part, if you observe carefully, the first row and the third row are proportional. First row and the third rows are proportional. And if 2 rows are proportional, the value of the determinant is again 0. So that justifies. Now we move to the next part. So in the next part, what we observe is that this 3 to 1 appears here, and then you have maybe 407 appears here, and then maybe 534 which appears here. So in fact the two determinants are clearly transpose of each other. लेफ्ट साइड को ट्रांसपोज करेंगे तो राइट साइड आ जाएगा, राइट को ट्रांसपोज करेंगे तो लेफ्ट आ जाएगा. सो देयरफॉर दे मस्ट बी इक्वल. नाउ वी लुक एट द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. द नेक्स्ट पार्ट इज प्रीटी इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज द फर्स्ट ऑब्जर्वेशन आई कैन मेक आउट इज दिस 2 11 6 appears here. So the columns are same but their positions are different. Again 3 4 15, 3 4 15, right? And then finally you can make out that this and this are here. So actually the right side determinant is obtained by shifting the rows, by interchanging of rows, interchanging of columns, sorry. So this is obtained by interchanging the columns. The columns are changing in the left side. So in the left hand side, let's say I want to send this column C1 to the position C2. So let's say we first interchange C1 with C2. Now when I interchange C1 with C2, I get something like 3 4 15. C2 comes here, right? We are interchanging these two, and then you have 2, 11, 6, and then you have 21, 7, 8. And when I interchange these two, I get a negative sign. So the left side is minus times of this. And again, if I interchange C1 and C3, I interchange these two. So this will give you the right side. And again we get this is equal to minus times minus right side, which is plus right side. So therefore this justifies the result. This is simply by interchanging two columns 2 times. Even number of times हमने देखा था कि minus into minus plus हो जाएगा. So this is the same thing happening here. Now we move to the next one. Now in the next one again, the observation is that you have 1 to 7, 1 to 7, and you have 6, 0, 13, 6, 0, 13. So that clearly suggests that we are simply interchanging. In the left hand side, we are interchanging row 1 with row 2. So therefore the left hand side becomes minus times 6, 0, 13, 1, 2, 7, 8, 3, 3, and this is precisely the right hand side. So these are equal. So these two questions are very similar. They are using the same property, but then यहाँ पे it is done even number of times and यहाँ पे it is done odd number of times. Odd number of times gives you extra negative, which is visible here, and even number of times will make minus minus plus. So we now move to the next. In the next, you again observe this is 2 to 2, and this is ABC, ABC, ABC. Only the order is different, right? You can probably make out that this value is same as ABC. BCA is equal to ABC. CAB is equal to ABC. So what we get is this first column and the third column are proportional. These are proportional, and therefore the value of the determinant will be 0. The question uses the same principle which was used in the third part. This question is quite similar to this part. The only difference is वहाँ पे ये चीज़ rows में हो रही थी, यहाँ पे columns में है. The only trap is maybe this appears to be different, but then they are mathematically same, right? And then we move to the last part of the problem. So again, the first thing I observe is the diagonal elements being 0, and this is a hint for, you guessed it right, this is skew symmetric. This gives us a hint for skew symmetric, and now we confirm this. So what you find is these two are negative mirror images, these two are negative mirror images, and these two are negative mirror images, and therefore the determinant is skew symmetric. It is confirmed. And if the determinant is skew symmetric, therefore odd order skew symmetric determinant has the value 0. So that completes all the parts. Again, you can see that the questions, in most of the questions, there is no need of expanding the determinant to find the values. We can simply just use the properties quickly, observe the determinants, observe the information, read between the lines, and then solve the question fast, right? Even if you're not able to solve, do not get discouraged. Like, it will take some time, it takes some practice, some thorough understanding of the principles. Revise the properties again, recall the 11 properties, resolve these questions, resolve the questions, right? Okay, so now in the next session, we'll be looking at elementary row operations, and then we'll be proceeding for some challenging problems. The questions would be utilizing the same properties, but then the problems would be really challenging. Some of the questions have appeared in previous JEE Advanced or IIT JEE subjective papers, So we'll be looking at the different strategies that are required to solve the questions. So in the meantime, you have to revise the chapter again till this place. Come prepared for the next session, and then we'll have some fun, some interesting properties, some row transformations, column transformations. What are they? How do we use the properties in combinations? So we'll try to understand those areas.